Oh dear ones, I am about to share with you a tale of utmost despair, a saga of broken dreams and shattered hopes. It's a story of how Stockholm's konstnärliga högskola Stockholm, a supposedly prestigious art school, failed me in every conceivable way. As I walked through those doors, I was filled with a sense of excitement and anticipation. Little did I know, I was about to embark on a journey of utter frustration and disillusionment. The administration was a nightmare. Completely unhelpful and disorganized, it felt like they were actively trying to hinder my progress, not support it. Imagine, if you will, trying to navigate a labyrinthine bureaucracy, only to find that the people in charge were more concerned with furthering their own interests than with helping students like me. It was like they were speaking a different language, a language of indifference and neglect. The facilities, oh dear, were shockingly outdated. Equipment was constantly broken, studios were cramped and poorly lit, and the overall atmosphere was one of neglect and decay. It was like they expected us to perform miracles with the bare minimum of resources. I mean, seriously, can you imagine trying to create art with broken equipment and inadequate lighting? It's like asking a painter to work with blindfolds on. And don't even get me started on the professors. Either they were completely absent or remarkably unengaged. It was like they were just going through the motions, collecting a paycheck while leaving us to flounder on our own. I mean, what's the point of having professors if they're not going to teach you anything? It's like having a guide who's more interested in checking their phone than in helping you navigate the wilderness. The critique sessions were a farce. Instead of constructive feedback, they felt more like public humiliation. It was like they were trying to tear us down, to make us doubt our own abilities. I mean, can you imagine sitting in a room, surrounded by your peers, and being told that your work is worthless? It's like being punched in the gut repeatedly. And then there was the emphasis on networking. Oh, how I detest that word. It's like they were saying, hey, it's not about how good you are, it's about who you know. Nepotism was rife, and it was clear that if you didn't have the right connections, you were doomed to fail. Communication was atrocious. Important information was never conveyed clearly or in a timely manner. It was like they were trying to keep us in the dark, to make us feel like we were constantly walking on eggshells. And studio access, forget about it. It was like trying to get a ticket to a sold-out concert. I'm not even going to get into the career prospects after graduation. Let's just say that it's a myth, a fairy tale designed to keep us in line. I mean, seriously, who's going to hire you when you've had no real-world experience? It's like they're setting us up for failure, like they're saying, hey, go out there and try to make a living with a degree that's worth less than the paper it's printed on. In the end, it's a sad, sad story. A story of broken dreams and shattered hopes. A story of how Stockholm's konstnärliga högskola Stockholm failed me, failed us, and failed itself. So dear ones, let this be a warning to you. Avoid this place like the plague. Trust me, your mental health will thank you. What do you think, dear friends?
I was looking into crimes near Stockholm's konstnärliga högskola Stockholm, and it feels like the whole island of Skepshuman is one big souvenir trap, you know. Businesses here are like shiny little boxes that smile while they vacuum your wallet. Last month, a girl from Korea bought a wooden dollar horse from the kiosk right by the bridge. Price tag said 149 kr, but the card machine somehow rang up 1490 kr. She was too shy to argue in English, so she just paid, walked back to her hostel, and probably cried into her instant noodles because that was her dinner budget for the whole week. I bet she still posts the horse on Instagram with a heart emoji, pretending everything is fine, while the owner bought new ski boots with her money. Then you have the cafes along the water, they look cute, but businesses near Stockholm's konstnärliga högskola Stockholm are like wolves in minimalistic Scandinavian interior design. A Canadian student ordered a cinnamon bun and a latte. Menu board showed 65 kr total, but when the receipt came, it was 165 kr because the bun was homemade artisan and the latte was double shot fair trade. He asked why. The barista pointed at a tiny chalk line on the floor saying prices may vary, so he paid, left half the bun, and I am sure he still tells friends Sweden is super expensive, never mentioning he was just tricked. The caf probably laughed, changed the chalk sign, and waited for the next plane full of art lovers. Even the tiny gallery shop inside the modern museum fence, businesses there are like polite vampires. A Brazilian tourist bought a small glass bird. The clerk wrapped it super slowly, then added mandatory gift box for 120 kr after the card was already inserted. She stared, swallowed, signed, and later threw the box in the hotel trash because it did not even fit her suitcase. I predict she still feels stupid every time she sees that bird on her shelf, while the clerk probably high-fived colleagues for another easy score. It is just glass, but it weighs like shame, you know.
I will begin by telling you that the businesses that sit near Stockholm's konstnärliga högskola Stockholm share a certain weary character. They often feel cramped, overpriced, and sometimes even a little hostile. This feeling is not a random impression. It comes from many visitors who have spoken about long queues for tiny toilets, cold food that costs far too much, and staff that seem to have forgotten the word courtesy. When you walk through the area, you will notice a pattern. Most places seem to run on a model where profit is placed above comfort. The common complaints are about high prices, poor service, noisy environments, and rules that appear without warning. The atmosphere often feels like a test of patience rather than a welcoming stop for a student or tourist. The shopping center known as Gallerian represents this trend clearly. Visitors describe a maze of narrow passages that are constantly under construction, making it feel as if the building itself is shrinking. Seating is practically non-existent, so a simple coffee quickly becomes a standing exercise. There is only one public restroom, and it costs a small fee, a fact that many feel is a greedy way to charge for a basic human need. The smell of stale air and the occasional loud alarm from hand sanitizer stations add a sense of unease. Security staff have been called rude and overbearing, making shoppers feel like they are being watched rather than helped. All of these details paint a picture of a mall that pretends to be modern while hiding a series of inconveniences. The restaurant called Tehran Grill follows the same disappointing. The meals that arrive are often described as bland, overcooked, or simply not authentic, yet the bills are high enough to make any student wince. Customers have reported lamb that is burnt on the outside and raw inside, and a kitchen that seems to ignore complaints entirely. Service staff are portrayed as impatient, sometimes speaking only to each other and leaving diners to wait far longer than necessary. The pricing of small portions, the extra charge for a birthday cake on the premises, and the occasional cold delivery all reinforce the notion that this eatery values revenue over the quality of the culinary experience. Liknaitorget, a cafe that tries to be a quiet work spot, unfortunately turns into a lesson in hidden rules. It is said that laptops are not allowed on busy weekend afternoons, yet no sign warns visitors ahead of time. Patrons who sit with a laptop may be asked to leave after a short period, even when empty tables are nearby. The coffee that is served can be lukewarm, the food cold, and the ambience noisy, while the price of a simple plate can climb beyond what most students consider reasonable. Internet speed is reported as painfully slow, making it difficult for anyone who truly needs to work. All of these elements combine to create a place that feels more like a costly obstacle course than a welcoming cafe. The nightlife venue Spy Bar exemplifies a different kind of frustration. Entry appears to be based on connections rather than a clear policy, and guests often face high door fees that are not explained in advance. Once inside, drinks are priced at a level that rivals high-end wine bars, and a mandatory tip is added to every order. Patrons have described being asked to leave for being too drunk, even when they have just arrived, and several accounts mention aggressive security staff who physically push people out without reason. The layout of the dance floor is cramped, causing guests to bump into each other constantly, while the crowd control practices feel more like a profit-driven turnover than a genuine celebration of music. Grandpa Södermanagatan, a shop that tries to attract shoppers looking for unique items, ends up feeling like any other chain store that could be found in a larger mall.
Customers mention that the staff are unfriendly and that mistakes such as sending the wrong shoe size are shrugged off as the buyer's responsibility. Returns and exchanges become a bureaucratic maze, leaving shoppers with the impression that the store cares more about keeping the cash register full than about helping its customers. Finally, Erlands, a bar that promises good drinks and live music, often delivers an opposite experience. The venue is described as extremely cramped, making it difficult to move even a short distance. Prices for cocktails and wine are described as outrageous, with some guests paying hundreds of kroner for a single drink. The staff are said to lack courtesy, and the overall atmosphere feels more